Media production.
The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Cruz and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Cruz and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode of Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes right here on Blog Talk Radio, where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. If you want to join the conversation, Irvin and I are sitting here waiting patiently on your phone call. You can dial us at 347-857-3958. Again, that number is 347-857-3958.
Yes, sir.
How was your day today, sir?
Man, I had a great day today.
We're experiencing an earthquake. If you're watching us on Cruz and Hughes, the camera is doing all kinds of funny stuff here. And we do invite you to always go to cruzandhughes.com, and that is C-R-U-I-S-E, Cruz, and Hughes is spelled H-U-G-H-E-S. Cruzandhughes.com. We always do a live stream there. You can see exactly what Irv and I do in the studio each and every day. One of the things that we don't do that often, but if you have a good business story and you want to come on the air,
right?
Tell people how you messed up.
Yeah, so
tell
that's
them,
exactly
tell them
right.
about all the money that you lost.
All this transparency.
And how many bankruptcies you filed.
Right.
And how you recovered, more importantly.
That's right.
This is the type of show that this is. We like to talk about those things that we've learned through experience and empower the people, as it were, so that they don't step in those same piles of, I'll let you fill in the blank.
Dung.
There you go. I was looking for a word that I could use on radio.
I want you to know I went through the whole
minutia.
I went through the whole index. And came up with dung.
Dung. Yeah, you passed right over minutia.
I passed right over.
So how was your day today?
No, I had a good day today. Our graduating class is coming out tonight.
Is that? It's tonight.
It's tonight. Yeah.
Wow. Get out of here.
Yeah,
How many are you graduating?
Now we're only graduating 5 this go around.
Okay.
And the reason why we're only graduating 5 though is because one of the things that we've done, we've had so many, a huge response to this, and we've been busy getting our internal systems up and going.
Okay.
And so like any good CEO, folks, if you find out you're growing too fast, you better control that thing.
Put the brakes on it.
Put the brakes on. Just tap them. Don't stop. Just tap.
Yeah. You don't, because it takes too long to get momentum going again.
Yeah, man. Just tap your brakes, and that's what we did this past training cycle. So I'm pretty excited about that.
So you got 5 coming out, and they're excited about the possibilities that lie just beyond
just ahead
those RFPs.
Absolutely. and then of course tomorrow we for those of you who are in the North Texas and Southern Oklahoma area, we're coming to your area. So we'll be opening our very next training cycle starting tomorrow in the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
So if someone is in that area and they want to get in touch with you about that?
Yeah, just give us a call at our offices at 800-381-0073. If you know somebody in the area who might be interested, certainly have them give us a call.
You know what I thought we'd talk about today?
What's that?
Closing tactics. We talked about negotiation.
That's right.
A few days ago.
Right.
And you can't have a good negotiation without some good old fashioned closing tactics.
Oh man, you know that's near and dear to my heart.
Oh man, and we did a good job of establishing the fact that if you are in small business, you are also a negotiator.
Right.
Albeit you may not be a very good one.
Right.
But it's something that's a skill and a talent that you must work on. And being able to recognize when to use a closing tactic and then how to defend against one.
Absolutely, because a close is absolutely going to happen.
Some way, somehow, at every negotiation's end, a close will take place.
A close is going to happen.
Now, just remains to be seen, will it be in your favor or in the opponent's favor?
Right, exactly.
So I figured we'd talk a little bit about
that's awesome.
9 closing tactics that work. And I mean, I'm certain that some of you have probably not only heard of these, you probably use these.
That's right.
And but I want to talk about, before we get into it, Irvin, how important it is that you understand that negotiating and closing someone
right
is a psychological game.
That's exactly right.
As Alonzo said in, what was that movie that Denzel Washington was in? He was the bad cop.
The Negotiator.
Not that one. The other one. He was the terrible cop.
Training
Day.
Right.
He said, it's chess, Jake. It's chess, not checkers.
That's right.
And
That's right.
and essentially, that is what negotiating and closing someone,
Right.
that's what it is.
Right, exactly right. And you know what? I would say this too. One of the keys to closing successfully is you better know where you're going in that sales encounter. If you are in a sales encounter and you happen to have no idea where you're going, your close is in trouble right now.
Yeah,
Your
absolutely.
close is in trouble when you shake hands and say, glad we could get together.
That's it. That's it. And you know, and we talked about in our negotiation segment that there's no such thing as a fair deal.
No.
There's
No.
there's only what you negotiate.
It's only what you negotiate. And guess what? Let me just say this too. A lot of people have some real misconceptions about this concept of fairness. And I just want to throw it out here, and maybe somebody's got a different view, and maybe they can give us a call and let us know. But this idea of fairness really wrecks a lot of businesses. And one of the things that I try to convey to people that I work with is that this whole concept of fairness, you need to put that aside.
I agree.
That is going to keep you broke.
I agree.
I mean, it will absolutely keep you broke.
And you know, fairness is what happens in Sunday school.
That's exactly right.
But when you step on the business playing field, it's
That's
not
right.
about being fair. It's about being swift. It's about
That's right.
Being well versed.
Right.
It's about being well prepared.
Right.
And being a tough and strong negotiator. And I'm gonna tell you this: negotiation takes practice.
It does.
I mean, you're not gonna. When I started out negotiating deals, I didn't just shoot to the top
Right.
and was able to always get
Yeah.
my way. I mean, you got to practice.
And because you have to practice, a good negotiation, that I'm talking about one that comes out where it's in your favor, is not an accident.
Right.
You can't accidentally come up on a consistent, sustainable, successful negotiation.
Yeah.
No, you're gonna plan that thing. You're gonna rehearse that thing.
Right.
You're gonna practice that.
Right.
And you're gonna know where those edges are, where this is not gonna come out well.
Right.
And you know, one of the things, I've got this really good friend, and he loves to negotiate, but he's not very good at it. And he gives away the store every time.
You know, I know a bunch of small business people that are that way.
He gives away the store. And one of the things that we got into it about, I mean, almost went to blows, John, is because he would literally start to negotiate against himself, and he'd set up a pricing structure and then negotiate away from his pricing structure
Wow.
to the point, and here's where where he got in trouble, to the point that he'd have so little money in the deal that he couldn't do a good job.
You know, and I'm certain that you see that so many times in small business people who look to do business with the government.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, they price themselves right out of business.
Right out of business.
And in any person that is used to doing business with someone is going to know when a bid is just not sustainable.
Exactly.
You can't sustain yourself on these numbers.
That's right. And believe it or not, when we come back, we're going to talk about what those instances are.
All right. Guys, you're listening to Cruz and Hughes, and we're coming at you live today at 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time every day on Blog Talk Radio. This segment was brought to you by Small Business Today magazine. It is the magazine that is forward about Houston's entrepreneurs. We invite you, encourage you, and offer to you a free copy of the publication that we produce right here in Houston. All you have to do is go to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com, put your information in, and we will send one to you each and every month free to your email inbox. More in a moment with John Cruz and Irv Hughes right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irvin and I are talking about the 9 closing tactics that do work.
They do work.
And how to defend against them.
Absolutely.
So in the last segment we were talking a little bit about the RFP process, or people doing bids and them doing bids too low. And you wanted to make a comment.
Yeah, I just wanted to make a comment, John, that what you were saying about people pricing themselves right out of business actually happens at the government level, where a lot of people bid so low that the government purchaser disqualifies the bid. And a lot of people don't think that when they're bidding with the government that the government wants you to make some money. But the truth is they want you to make some money.
Well, everybody understands that if you're not making any money, you're not going to keep doing this.
Well, that's exactly right. And so what happens is, as you as a small business owner need to remember that, especially if you're selling whatever your products and services are, be mindful to make sure you offer a good value. Mm-hmm. It's not just price. You got to offer a great value on top of that. And that's vitally important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, we're talking about 9 closing tactics that work and ways to recognize and defend against them. And if we were to go ahead and get started, I'd like to open up with the first one.
Let's do that.
And one of the ones that I always like is the left at the altar closing tactic.
The left at the altar close.
You know, that it's that moment when everything's been going great,
right?
Everything's been signed, consummated. The only thing that needs to happen is just the formality of exchanging checks.
Yes.
Or something like that.
Yeah, executing the transaction.
We
agree on everything, but now it's time to execute, and now one party backs out.
And somebody backs out.
Right.
Somebody doesn't show up for closing. You can't get them on the telephone. You know, you're sitting there. You've burned 2 or 3 hours waiting at the table.
That's right.
Or the altar, as it were.
Your parking meter's running.
Parking meters, the double park, you know. And it really is a tactic. Now, these are all tactics and strategies that skilled negotiators use.
Right.
I mean, we may make them sound hokey, you know, at some point or another on the show, but these are things that people do to win ground in negotiating, to get the terms heavy on their side.
Right.
And that left at the altar, you'd be surprised at how many deals that I have personally seen renegotiated while one party is at closing and the other party hasn't even gotten out of bed yet.
That's right. That's exactly right.
But the person who's waiting at the altar is the one with egg on their face.
Right.
And so they'll do whatever's necessary.
Sure.
Because no one likes to come that close.
Right.
And not consummate a deal.
Absolutely. And a lot of times people will acquiesce right there.
That's exactly the truth. And you have to be able to recognize and identify. Now, I don't know how you would go against or defend against this tactic. But when it's been pulled on me, and because I was in the real estate business for a while, I've had it pulled on me on large transactions.
Absolutely.
And immediately, once I find out that the other party's not coming, I get my check.
Yep.
And I leave.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Because you know what? At that point, you've got to call it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's what I call you got to call it. You know, it's just like in the old medical shows when the star doctor says, you know, he's dead, Jim. You know, all right, well, somebody's got to call that.
That's right. That's right.
You know what? And if you've lost some money, it might as well be you. Call it.
Call it. And don't find yourself in a position where you're negotiating from the closing table. The closing table is not the place to negotiate.
Not at all.
The deal should be worked out by then.
The deal should be done, folks. Closing is a natural progression of a great sales technique and strategy.
That's exactly right.
It shouldn't be any. Let me put it this way, if I can, John. There should not be any surprises when it comes time to close.
You know, the power that you have in the deal is leaving at that point.
Absolutely.
And
no doubt
you
about
go
it.
back to your office, and I'm going to tell you, I mean, there are a lot of people out here who say, Irvin, you know, I don't like playing the psychological games that are associated with being in business. Or let me tell you, it's all a game. It's all psychological. That's really what it is. And you have to now put the ball back in your court, or put the strength back on your side. Leave.
Right.
If there's not going to be a closing, if someone cannot respect your time enough to show up, leave. And then you start thinking about the deal when you get back to your office, when you get back to your base camp, and you have your team there with you.
That's exactly right. And, you know, be mindful, folks, that a lot of times people are doing this because they're simply trying to get better terms over and above what it was you were offering.
I see it all the time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's just something that happens a lot, you know. And, you know, I've seen really good friends of mine that I've learned from, and people that I, you know, circulate with to make sure that, you know, I'm staying sharp and that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, one of the coolest negotiators I ever met, folks, literally has this line, "Why don't you sleep on it?" And I just found out that is one of the I used that. I incorporated that immediately. Why don't you sleep on it?
Yeah, you know, we're going to talk about that a little later in the show as well.
I mean, it's fantastic. Fantastic.
You want to do the next one?
How about the next one, John? You like this one. Calling on a higher authority.
We're talking about God here.
Just anybody higher than me. You know, it's above this whole concept. This whole transaction is above my pay grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore, I don't have the power to close.
You know, I don't like that.
No.
It I don't want to say it angers me, because, you know, but it doesn't make me feel comfortable.
Right.
Once I recognize that I'm negotiating with subordinates.
That's right.
Because I don't take no from a person who isn't qualified to say yes.
Right.
And I don't negotiate with somebody who isn't qualified to consummate and execute a deal.
That's exactly right.
Otherwise, I'm just practicing.
That's exactly right. And it may mean that the person you've been talking to was misleading you all the way.
It could mean that.
It
definitely could mean that. Absolutely. And you don't know, but let's backtrack just a little bit here. One of the things that I'm also against, but I push very hard to find out, whenever somebody's selling something, I always want to know the reasons why.
Absolutely.
And whenever somebody's buying something from me, I always want to know the reasons why.
Absolutely. Because
as you talk and then I listen,
right,
I find out what your hot points are.
Exactly.
So when you tell me that your mother's birthday is tomorrow, and the one thing that she's always wanted was a silver Mercedes-Benz with wine-colored interior that's priced right around where mine is priced.
Right.
Well, then I could drag you out a little bit.
That's exactly right.
And if you tell me that you're selling for economic reasons, that you have to be out by this date,
Sure.
The end of the quarter is going to
Sure.
affect your business, that actually lends power to the other side in the negotiation. So one of the things that I'm very guarded against is I don't get into the reasons why I'm buying or selling.
Right. And one of the things with that, if you do that, what happens is you clue your opponent, if you will, that you're at a disadvantage.
Yeah.
And boy, a good negotiator is going to nail you every time.
That's exactly right. I mean, you basically put a target on yourself when you say that, I'm hemorrhaging cash left and right. I'm just trying to salvage something. I mean, automatically someone who's coming in, that's blood in the water talk.
Oh, absolutely.
And the sharks are going to show up.
Absolutely. One of my good clients from years ago up in North Texas had an opportunity to buy a subsidiary from a major Fortune company, and this particular subsidiary was bleeding badly, to the tune. And they wanted to sell it to him, and I said, offer him $1, and he said, "You got to be kidding me! That's insulting." I said, "No, offer him $1." I said, "What they want is to get that off their books."
Right.
I said, "Offer them the $1." He made the offer for $1. They came back and just screamed bloody murder. They were embarrassed. They told him what a terrible negotiator and businessman he was, what a shyster he was. And then 30 days later, they sold it.
I'm not surprised.
And all they asked him to do was cover the closing costs, which came to about $5.
It takes courage to negotiate.
Absolutely.
And the first thing that you have to do is understand that you're not offending someone by saying what price it is that you're willing to pay.
Right.
I don't get that where someone takes offense. That's a lovely shirt you're wearing, Irvin, and I'd love to buy it from you, and I'd give you 10 cents for it.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not talking about your character.
But it's not. It's not an indictment on my character.
That's right.
It's not even an indictment against my business model.
Not at all.
It's you setting a parameter for me to accept a dime, or come back and counter what you offer.
Absolutely. Or just flat deny it altogether.
Or just say no. The shirt's not for sale.
Especially for that price.
Yeah.
And I won't even start my negotiation that low.
Right.
It's completely up to you to do that.
That's exactly right.
So take your feelings out of it, but pour in a bucket of courage. And you have to be able to, when you find out that a company is hemorrhaging cash at $100,000.
That's $1.2 million a year.
Oh,
man.
my goodness. I mean, why would you offer? I don't understand. I mean, the object of business is to buy low, sell high.
Absolutely.
And to me, hats off to that gentleman who was able to close that deal.
And by the way, he did turn the company around, and he's doing really, really well today.
Man, we should probably get him on the show one day.
We should get him on the show. In fact, we're going to do that.
Well, the next one, crunch time.
Oh, boy.
Crunch time. Everything's a go. Go, 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 go. Let's
do
move
it now.
fast, move fast,
do it
move
now.
fast. We got to get this
You're
closed.
in a hurry.
We're in a hurry.
Got 5 people lined up.
Got 5 people lined up. We don't have time to play with this. So, we got to make it happen.
Skip all those steps you have.
Right. Let's go straight to the end.
Yeah.
Here's an ink pen.
Yeah.
Press hard.
Yeah.
And the forms are in triplicate.
Yeah. Why do you need to have due diligence? Don't check on all that stuff.
What are your feelings on that?
No, that's a trap. That's an absolute trap. You're fixing it. Yeah. Listen, folks, you're about to get got.
Yeah.
Yeah. When somebody starts that, slow that transaction
Slow down. There's something that's about to happen that you can't see, and you want to be aware of it. And, you know, the old adage goes, haste makes waste, and I never speed through details.
No.
And if the deal has to happen today,
right,
I'll just walk away.
Yeah, the deal's off.
Remember, I've never lost a dime on a deal that I didn't close.
Exactly right.
So you got to take your time, and you know, and you think about some of these people. There's always a story as to why we need to hurry,
right?
You know, and they have these elaborate stories. You know, the sky is falling, and you know we're going into receivership, and if we don't do this deal today, you'll be dealing with the trustee, and I mean,
everything must go.
Everything must go. You know, and so take your time. Don't be pressed to speed through a deal.
No.
And you know, the thing is that you really don't have a deal
right
when you're negotiating. All you have is a negotiation going on.
It's just a negotiation and nothing more.
It ain't no deal.
No,
You know,
no.
And I love to hear people refer to, I got this deal. Do you really?
No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, you don't. You just don't have this deal. Well, you know what? We're going to go to break. We're going to come back, and we're going to talk about, have you ever been filibustered? And maybe we shouldn't be talking about this considering what our government is doing, but we're going to talk about whether or not you've ever been filibustered and what does that all mean. So one of the things we're going to do when we come back, John, I want you to pick up the filibuster because I want to chime in with you.
Not a problem.
All right, we're absolutely
we'll sing
gonna
in
do
unison.
it. All right, we'll do it together. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by SalesNexus.com. Sales Nexus offers the best in web-based customer relationship management systems. You can sign up today for a free trial copy of Sales Nexus by visiting salesnexus.com or giving them a call at 888-267-3589. More in a moment with Cruz and Hughes right after this.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. Irvin and I are talking about the 9 closing tactics that work. I mean, and there are dozens more.
Sure.
These are just some of our favorite 9 that we've pulled out, and some of the ones that he and I even use ourselves. So if you're ever negotiating against us, we're sort of exposing our repertoire of tactics to you. But when we went to break, we were talking about filibustering.
Right.
And was it Ron Paul Jr. that pulled the filibuster?
Yeah, absolutely.
What did he go, 12 hours or something like
just going
Have
off
you ever,
at running
have you
at the
ever talked
head.
that long?
No.
Me either.
No.
I wouldn't know what to say.
I run out of patience. Well, they don't either.
Man, I'd be
Listen
singing,
to them.
singing Al Green.
Listen to them. They don't either. They do not. They
But
go
you know,
back and look at the tape.
I'm of that mindset even when they're not filibustering. So, but let's talk about the filibuster. The filibuster is a closing tactic.
Right.
When you find yourself in a deal and you're wanting to get this thing wrapped up, not necessarily saying that you're trying to rush through the process, but a deal has a shelf life. Every deal does.
Right.
And there is a rhythm at which a deal should operate by. When you look at just a regular transactional residential real estate home, it generally takes 21 to 30 days to close the average deal.
Sure.
So if you're in a transaction like that, and now we're, say, 75, 80 days into it, chances are there's no deal there.
There's no deal there.
And to bring that to terms of negotiation, when you have someone sitting there and they will not shut up, they continue to talk, they continue to talk, they continue to tell stories that have nothing to do with the topics that are surrounding or the business details that are surrounding the deal, you need to be aware of that.
That's right.
And there just has to come a point, at least in my mind, Irvin, where you got to say, listen, either we're going to sign this thing and get it done or we're not.
Right. And that's what I mean. All the time I say this, folks, and that is somebody has to take the courage to call it. If you're in a position where somebody is using one of these tactics where they're just waffling on and on and on, the cat needs braces, the dog had diarrhea,
That's right.
the Israelis and the Arabs ought to settle their differences in a Christian-like manner. All those things don't mean anything.
Right.
And so they're using that as a tactic, folks.
Yeah.
And you've got to be aware of that. You've got to be able to detect when that is happening.
And one of the things that I am acutely aware of in any negotiation or transaction is what the business details are. and I've been called Kurt.
Yes.
Although my name is John.
Yeah.
I have been called a bit of a sphinxtermeister.
Yeah, sphinxtermeister.
Because I will not allow the conversation. Right. I'll say, let's table that for after we've signed.
Right.
I'll sit here and chop it up and chat with you,
right.
For at least an hour and, kiss the wife and pat the kids on the head. But the thing is, during the transaction,
right.
let's stay on top of the deal. I don't want to be disheveled or discombobulated with all these, these stories of grandeur about how you went, hiking in the Alps.
Right.
Right. Let's stay on top of the deal.
Right. Absolutely. How about this one, John? The renegotiator. Now, the renegotiator guy is the guy that really gets me.
Okay.
Because,
why so?
Because this guy is coming back after we've agreed, and I want to revisit something that we agreed to 15 minutes ago.
Right.
Okay. See, now I'm going to tell you. I'm wondering now whether or not you were telling me the truth 15 minutes ago.
Right. When you said you were okay with those terms or that language.
When you said you were okay and we moved on, and now you want to go back and revisit this because you've had something else going on.
Well, I have a comment I'd like to make on that.
Okay.
You and I are having a phone call in the morning.
Yep.
At 10 a.m.
That's right.
And it's a bit of this tactic that's being used.
Absolutely.
There were terms that were sent over. You prepared a beautifully designed and well put together investment brief for us, and everybody sort of agreed. And then we get to the point where it's time to close.
Right.
And the closing price at which we had covered day one that was accepted,
right,
is now $28,000
yeah.
too high.
Yeah, now it's something is askew.
And this is after we've already had papers and docs drawn up, corporations established,
right,
and now we have to have a 10 o'clock in the morning to renegotiate the initial sale price.
Yeah, that was on the very first document on the second page.
And you know what I wish I could do? I wish I could read the email that Irv sent me addressing this, but I just can't do it for fear that my client may be watching this show. But I could see where you got so perturbed.
Yeah.
And it's like, where is this coming from? I mean, we're so deep into this thing.
Yeah. This should have came out way back
in the day. So.
Yeah.
But anyway, nonetheless, we know how to defend against that.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
And that's the thing. One of the biggest issues with the renegotiator guy is you've really got to call into question without being belligerent.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about leaving emotion out of it,
mm-hmm.
but we've got to really call into question either integrity, character, or ignorance.
Yeah.
We've got
all those qualify.
We've got to call into question one of those three things. It's going to be integrity, character, or ignorance.
As it relates to the renegotiator, you also want to be advised that when you agree to terms on an agreement, you never show up at the closing table and just sign documents that you think are the last version of that agreement.
That's right.
You always reread any document that was not produced by you.
Right.
Even though we may have an understanding, I'm just going to go through here and make sure there's no added language or nothing missing.
Right.
It does not hurt for you to do it. And if the other side gets very upset at you for doing so, then you take even more time in reading those documents, because the renegotiator is definitely guilty of submitting agreements that'll have terms reworded throughout the entire agreement that all mean the same thing.
That's exactly right.
So whereas you may agree to strike one out and get further into the agreement, and you think about it, we're doing a limited partnership on this other deal. The limited partnership agreement is 34 pages long.
Mm-hmm.
So 34 pages, there could be all kinds of legalese in there.
Oh, there's lots of room to mess with each other's mind.
So I have to take my time. I have to make certain that my attorney's sitting right there, and he goes through every page of this, especially if we didn't prepare.
Right, absolutely. And so I'm really excited about this opportunity for you and I to work together. Most excited about is getting to the root of this.
Oh yeah.
I really am anxious to hear this.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear this.
Oh, you know what? You're like the championship fighter that's just standing backstage, just waiting to be called to the ring. You know,
I need this bad. I need this really, really bad. I'm like,
well, and I'm going to try to keep you on a short leash.
I appreciate that.
But I won't be afraid to just let it go if it calls for it.
That's right.
So stay tuned. Irv and I will bring you the second part to that story possibly tomorrow. All right, the next closing tactic that is used all the time, and everybody's aware of this one. I mean, we all can identify with it. We hear it all the time, and it's the good cop,
bad cop.
Which one are you today?
I'm always the bad cop.
Well, in the morning, I want you to be.
Yeah, I'm always the bad cop.
You swing the axe,
that's exactly
and I'm going to come with the Band-Aids.
I am always the bad cop. I always give people permission when we're in a negotiation. I give people permission that I am the bad cop. When I leave, you can say whatever you want to keep your friends.
I know.
If you want to keep your friends, I always knew that guy was insane. I always knew that guy was a bad apple.
Yeah, I never would have hired him, but my boss, he loves it.
Yeah. My third party, my higher power person.
Yeah, that's right.
That's who did it.
They selected him. He wouldn't have been my choice.
Yeah,
so
he wouldn't have been my choice.
But and the good cop, bad cop, although it's something that's very easily identified, I'm amazed at how often it works.
Yeah, it does work.
Because once you've had somebody work your emotions up to a boil, and then when someone else comes in and they're the voice of reason, they're calm, they're compassionate, we want to be coddled at that point.
That's right. I mean, we just got to, we're back in our corner now.
Yeah.
We want our coach to come and, put some ice packs on.
But you got to understand, the reason that people use this is because if I can swing you emotionally and make you volatile from being happy and pleasant to disruptive, demanding, in there somewhere, your weaknesses will become exposed.
Right.
That's where I'll find out what this deal really means to you.
Absolutely.
And then I'll know where to go in and make my money.
That's exactly right. And, you remind me of a particular scene in an old movie, Matrix. And the Matrix movie, there's these two guys who meet each other, and they immediately start a fight. And in the fight, during the course of the fight, they basically fight to a draw.
Okay.
All right. And at the end of the fight, when they stop fighting because they can't beat each other, one guy says to the other one, well, why did you start fighting me? He said, well, you truly don't know somebody until you fight them.
Really?
And quite honestly, I needed to make sure you were who you said you were.
Wow.
And it just really stuck out to me because oftentimes when we think of the word fight, we think of a fist fight or something like that.
Yeah.
But the truth is a good chess game is just as good.
That's right. Some level of jousting.
Some level of jousting will help you learn about that person. And
I can buy into that.
And that's a cool thing.
Well, you think about friendships, Irvin. You don't. I tell people all the time. You and I have not established a friendship until you've gotten to the point that you want to curse my very name.
That's right.
Because how you handle me.
That's right.
When you're most angry.
Right.
Is what truly makes a friendship.
No, that's very true.
It's easy to be happy with everyone when everybody's smiling and everybody's making money.
That's right.
But if I just cost you $1 million, I'm going to know very quickly what I mean to you.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it. And guess what? We're going to lean heavily on our relationship when that happens. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by Dominion Commercial Credit. Dominion Commercial Credit offers business credit and contract financing for small businesses nationwide. You can give them a call today at 800-381-0073 or visit net30credit.com. More in a moment with Cruz and Hughes. We'll be right back.
Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
All right, welcome back. Irvin and I are talking about 9 closing tactics that work. If you are in small business, you had better be a closer. And if you're not a closer, you need to work on those skills because not only do you have to negotiate, but you do have to close. And sometimes negotiating a deal doesn't stop right there. You have to use other tactics to get and encourage the other side to go not only to the closing, but also to sign those documents.
Absolutely.
To cut the check.
You've got to execute the transaction.
You've got to do it.
That's exactly right. Well, how about this one, John? How about this one? Number 7, when somebody wants to take away.
The old takeaway.
The old takeaway.
I wish we had a caller on the line because we would ask them, what do you think the takeaway is? But since we don't, the takeaway is when I present something.
Right.
Get you all hot and moist for it.
Right. Right.
And then I take it away.
That's exactly right. And you see that happen in movies.
All the time.
Oh, yeah. You see that happen in movies where the guy and the girl, you can tell there's some chemistry. There's something happening between them. And they finally get the opportunity to get together. And they get right close. And nothing happens. Oh.
And, women are better at this.
That's right.
Than men are.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if we've ever covered the hierarchy of the best closers.
No, I don't think we have.
And the hierarchy goes like this: the absolute best closer. So if you are in business and you want to hire someone that gets results in terms of making sales happen, it goes like this: children, women,
right,
then men.
That's right.
Children
doubt about
sell better than anything else
Absolutely.
on the planet. Or cute puppies and kittens.
That's exactly
you know, but I think they even take a back seat to children.
Children are so uninhibited.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, they'll say, "Hey, I want you to buy my candy."
Okay.
What do you say to that? And if you say no, they say, "Why not?"
And we let them get away with certain
Why
things,
won't you buy my candy?
How about these Girl Scout cookies?
Oh, the Girl Scouts.
Boy Scouts couldn't pull that.
No. That's why they take you out in the woods. They
To the smokehouse.
Yeah, they take you back in the smokehouse. They're going to beat you with a stick.
But I tell you this, in my organization, I always like having women in the sales department, especially at high levels, because they have an ability to sell, an ability to not only communicate and relate to women, but also to men.
Right.
And men, we don't understand that we get sucked in by women. We hate to let them down.
Right.
There are these things, the same reasons that my brother and I often argue about should women be allowed to go to war, go to battle. And he's against it because the way that we're raised is to be comforters and nurturers toward women.
Yeah, the truth is, I have real strong opinions about that myself, John. And that is I think not a question of whether or not women are capable of combat. That's not the question. The question is, I mean, women have proven over and over again that they're strong, they're intelligent, and certainly they're resilient, more resilient than men. They can certainly handle a heck of a lot of pain than men can.
Absolutely.
So that's not a question. The real question is how many men are going to get killed because they know that one of their comrades is a woman.
Yeah.
And they're going to put themselves in harm's way.
My brother is a major in the U.S. Army, and he's been in combat, and he feels the same way. He says that is just a major distraction. He says if you're fighting with a force of all women, then possibly you could get something done. But as soon as you include the dynamic of having males and females, men they're not going to adhere to 100% of their training.
That's exactly right.
They're going to live up to the chivalry that has been ingrained in us through.
Yeah, I think men are wired that way.
I think so.
I think most men, when they embrace their manhood, if they hear the shrieking woman screaming or in pain,
I couldn't sit back and watch another man hit a woman.
No, I can't do it. I cannot do it.
I can only imagine in a combat situation where I'm deliberately disobeying orders to save the honor of this young filly.
That's exactly
I'm reminded of that Warner Brothers cartoon. Did he hurt you, honey child?
Magnolia.
But anyway, we're talking about the takeaway. The takeaway is something that you always want to watch out for. They'll use terms like, we're going to do this deal with or without you. They'll threaten to walk out if they can't get their terms.
Right.
They'll talk up the deal really heavily at the beginning, and then all of a sudden, when things aren't going right, they'll consistently tell you that they'll take it away from you.
I'm just going to bail. I'm not going to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to move on to the next one?
The carrot.
The carrot. What's the carrot in the deal?
I don't know if you've ever seen that drawing where the mule is or the donkey is walking ever so slowly, but he is still moving, and it's because the guy that's sitting on the cart has a carrot on a long string that he's hanging out in front of in front of the donkey.
And they're making this guy is literally making a promise.
That's exactly what it is.
And he has no intention of delivering on.
No intention. That's the carrot.
That's the carrot.
And you got to be careful when you're chasing it. I've chased a few carrots myself.
Absolutely.
And then all of a sudden you back up and you say, you know what? This isn't going to happen.
Yeah, how are you going to do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to be very careful when you're in a deal and somebody's always dangling that other, something out there that they know you really want, or they want you to take this really small deal that no one else will close.
Yeah, because somebody else, if you close this one, I've got a ton more. There's the carrot.
I got some really big stuff that I'm saving for you.
I'm saving for you. Yeah. Just you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, after you've proven yourself, of course.
On this little bitty deal. Yeah, don't fall for the carrot. The carrot doesn't work.
No, just make sure, folks, that you're the rider and not the donkey.
That's exactly right. Yeah, if anybody's going to hold the carrot, let it be you.
That's exactly right.
All right.
And So that's the carrot. And how about this one?
This is number 9.
Number 9. We're going to round it out right here.
All right.
The auctioneer.
You know, I don't buy anything at all.
Oh, you don't buy anything at auction?
Nothing.
Why not?
Because there's a spirit of competition that exists in auctions.
Sure.
And I'm very competitive.
Yeah, okay.
I don't like to be bested.
Yeah.
You know, I told someone I had a speaking engagement earlier in the week, and I told them that I'm the type of person that I hate losing more than I love winning.
Yes. Yes, I understand.
If that makes sense to you.
I understand that totally.
And so I don't buy things at auction. And the auctioneer closing tactic, this is someone that will show you sensitive documents. He'll show you intent letters. He'll show you down payments. He'll show you all these other things showing you the interest of other people in the same product or agreement or terms of the negotiation that you're trying to get with them in hopes that it'll move you to closing.
Absolutely.
And how I handle that, Irvin, is I say, listen, if you had that, you wouldn't be talking to me.
Why are you talking to me?
Why are you
and
talking
you
to
got
me?
all of this going on.
Right. You got a guy that's already written you a $50,000 check, and you're still talking to me about the same deal this guy wants?
Yeah, that's exactly right. What are you after?
Sense. Yeah, wait.
Yeah, what are you after?
What
you
are
got
you
the
selling?
you got the deal done.
It's done. What do you need me for?
You know what my response to those guys are? Rock the house.
Rock the house.
Rock the house. Go ahead, man.
Close that.
Close that right now. In fact, I'm going to sit here and watch. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by RingCentral.com. To get RingCentral's virtual PBX for your business, give them a call today at 888-716-5022. Folks, stay with us. This is Cruz and Hughes, and we're giving you great information. Get your pen and paper handy because we're in the home stretch, and we'll be right back right after these messages.
Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now at...
Excuse me, heavy news?
You know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
With my Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus headset, I'm free. Free to talk to you while carrying a laptop bag, holding a cup of coffee, and fishing for my car keys. Now, you may ask me, Jim, is it really necessary to use the phone while doing all these things? And my answer is it really necessary not to? Plantronics Voyager Pro Plus. It's my so comfortable, why wouldn't I use it all day headset.
Get your Voyager Pro Plus at Plantronics.com.
Turn up the sales on your website today with AnythingInternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with AnythingInternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash. I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. We're at the bottom of the hour. We've been talking about 9 closing tactics that work and how to defend against them, how to recognize them. And these are tactics that everybody uses. I mean, if you're any type of successful closer, you've used at least one of these and possibly all 9 in the same transaction.
That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
So, but you know, Irv, I'd like to sort of close out talking about some of those things that you can do to prepare yourself.
Right. I appreciate that. And, you know, one of the things that you do to get prepared is make sure that you have gathered sufficient intelligence before you get into a sales transaction with anybody.
Right. Don't go.
Or don't go. If you're not ready, don't go.
Don't go.
Just don't go. Postpone it. You know what? Because quite frankly, folks, I find a lot of times, John, people get desperate.
Yeah.
And you get desperate for a deal. And, you know, you can really start to skip steps.
Oh, yeah.
And you can really create a problem for yourself.
And I'll tell you this, too. If you're the type of person that takes shortcuts and skips steps, you'll never do business with a seasoned negotiator. With some of these large Fortune 500 companies that we all want to do business with, they can tell because only rookies make those mistakes.
That's exactly right. And I'm going to tell you what, when they're with seasoned veterans, you know what? There's a respect that they give you.
That's right.
Even if there's not going to be a deal.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I've negotiated with a lot of these large opportunities, as you know, in government. And it's been interesting to see the number of deals. And I'll just throw this out just as food for thought for our listeners, John. Do you know I've actually closed half of the deals that I've walked?
Really?
Half.
Well,
because I walked away.
Well, that's one of the tactics. I guess we didn't talk about what happens when the takeaway works.
Yep.
It's called the comeback.
That's exactly right. We'll touch on that when we come back.
Well, until tomorrow, we'll come back with something else new and innovative for you guys. We've enjoyed bringing this information to you. I'm John Cruz.
I'm Irv Hughes.
And this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. The show that we do here is for you. It's for entrepreneurs, and we appreciate your time today. Until tomorrow, be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
And Irv and I will see you tomorrow.
Take care.